Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This week on Semi-Serious, I want to talk some more about body positivity. So, first of all, of course, as always, we are going to define our terms. And Wikipedia defines the body positive movement as, quote, a movement that encourages people to adopt more forgiving and affirming attitudes towards their bodies with the goal of improving overall health and well-being. Everyday Feminism, which is a website that I recommend without necessarily agreeing with everything that they post, goes a little bit further in its definition, and it says, one of the first goals of body positivity is to, quote, uncover the messages that have influenced your relationships with your body, food, and exercise, and develop a weight-neutral, health-centered approach to self-care to become the authority of your own body by sorting out facts from distorted societal myths about health, weight, and identity. There's a lot to unpack there, but I want to take a minute to go through it because I think that real body positivity is something that not a lot of people understand. And it's important because it affects all of us, not just people who are overweight or obese or severely underweight. An important disclaimer is that I am someone who is relatively new to the body positivity movement, and what I'm going to be talking about is basically the way that I understand these tenets. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're inherently or universally correct. It's just the way that I see them, the way that I understand them. The first part is uncover the messages that have influenced your relationships with your body, food, and exercise. I think it's a pretty well accepted fact that the media that we consume in our society and the cultural expectations that we grow into as we develop have a significant impact and influence on the way that we perceive ourselves, our bodies, the way that we inhabit space in society as we grow up. Like, it's almost cliche at this point to bring up the fact that the depiction of bodies in the media play a huge role in the way that particularly women view themselves as they get older. This is especially true, I've noticed, in feminist circles, but not everywhere is a feminist circle. Feminism is certainly not as pervasive as I would like it to be, for example. So it bears repeating. The body positivity movement as a movement also stresses the importance of looking critically at the way that we learn about health and fitness and the way that we think about our bodies and our body size in terms of health and fitness, because one of its main points, as far as I've learned, is that size is not a reliable indicator of health. The article on Everyday Feminism, where I'm taking a lot of these quotes from, which I will link below, directly says the actual intention of body positivity is not, quote, any action that makes you feel positive about your body. The intention is size acceptance. So the next point that I want to unpack a little bit more is develop a weight-neutral, health-centered approach to self-care. And there does seem to be a little bit of disagreement within the body positivity movement about whether or not the approach to self-care should include a health-centered focus, if health should really play as important of a role in that, especially because this is often used to shame overweight or obese people to change their appearance and try to shed weight, shed fat. I'm not really going to touch on that too much more because it's a very loaded subject, and people have a lot of very strong opinions on it, and I don't, aside from the opinions that I will be getting into a little bit later in this video. I do want to, on the other hand, unpack the idea of weight-neutral approaches to self-care, because one of the big things that the body positivity movement emphasizes is how damaging diet culture is. Sometimes it can be more damaging to lose a lot of weight and then gain the weight back and then try to lose weight again and gain it all back. This kind of like yo-yo weight fluctuation is oftentimes worse for metabolisms and does more to damage metabolisms than just not dieting at all in the first place. The focus on weight is so common and pervasive in our society that it's hard to uncouple our idea of health with how much someone weighs. And again, the body positivity movement, based on research and on evidence, believes that size is not a reliable indicator of someone's health. And the last part, the third part of that definition says, become the authority of your own body by sorting out facts from distorted societal myths about health, weight, and identity. One of the more radical ideas, I think, to come out of the body positivity movement, at least to me, is the idea that you can be the authority on what it's like to live and exist in your own body, as opposed to doctors or trainers or nutritionists or other health professionals. Because body positivity is focused more on self-acceptance and self-care rather than worrying so much about health, it does make sense that that their emphasis and their focus would be more on reclaiming that body autonomy. So if you have watched my other videos, some of my other videos, you probably know that I myself am on a weight loss journey right now, and that I'm very proud of the progress that I've made so far. To date, I have lost 20.7 pounds, and I've done it. I'll probably make another video about like the ins and outs of how I'm doing it, but I'm cultivating what I see as a healthy balance of self-discipline and self-care. Not that the two are mutually exclusive. So I was a little confused to see this message in the article from Everyday Feminism about body positivity, which I honestly thought that I was practicing. It says, let's make something clear. Having a goal for intentional fat loss is not body positive, period. That's literally antithetical to the definition and intention of body positivity. Fat loss goals are about intentionally changing your body weight in the context of weight loss. Body positivity is about not intentionally changing your body weight. The two things don't mix. Okay, so honestly, I had a little bit of a problem with this, and here's why. I want to be really clear that I am not a health expert. I'm not a fitness expert by any means. I'm not a professional. I'm not a doctor. And I'm also aware that I have always enjoyed some level of thin privilege, which, yes, it is a thing. It does exist. I'm not disputing that at all. However, I am an authority on what it's been like to live in my body, just like the body positivity movement says. I know what my life has been like. I know what my relationship to food and my weight and my body and fitness and activity has always been, and all of those things contributed to my decision to make this change. Like I said in my other video, I started this journey to get healthy and, yes, also to lose weight, because I realized that I was obese, because I was starting to experience some significant back and knee pain, and because I was dealing with I was feeling so self-conscious and uncomfortable in my body. I also know that I have a family history of heart conditions and diabetes and high cholesterol, like all of that. I come with all of that baggage. I was using food as a coping mechanism to deal with my depression and anxiety and loneliness and culture shock, and I was using it in a really unhealthy way. I was using that to cope because I didn't know how else to cope. I still struggle with that. Like even now that I'm doing this weight loss journey and everything, like I'm trying to better myself, I still struggle with things like that. It took me a very long time to find an English-speaking therapist here who also accepted my insurance, and prior to that, I was trying to fill a void that I didn't know how else to fill, and food made me feel good, so I ate. I was not healthy, I was not happy, and I was not empowered. In fact, I hated myself. I haven't always been big, which is another reason why it felt like the path that I was headed down was not the right path for me. Plus, I always wanted to have a more active lifestyle, and I would look at other people who were like going to the gym or who were hiking or who were like out kayaking and stuff, or like skiing in the winter, and I would be like, man, I want to be like that. Like, I want to have that lifestyle, and I want to, not like I want to be thin. Like, I mean, I did want to be thin. I still do, but, and that's something that I have to work through on my own. But even aside from that, like, I wanted to be able to go out and feel like I could go for a hike if I wanted to, and not have to worry about what I looked like, or my pain, or anything like that. Like, I wanted to be able to just go. I thought about, like, I want to have a dog, you know, at some point. Kids, nah, but a dog, yes. I want to have a dog at some point. And honestly, one of the things that always kept me from getting a dog is because I didn't believe that I could be as active as I needed to be to have a dog. And this was a common theme in my head for me to be like, I want that thing, and then for a voice inside my head to be like, you'll never be that person, you can't do it, you aren't worth it, you know that you're just gonna give up, so why even try? And that's just the reality. These are the things that I would say to myself. These are the issues that I was working with. I felt like failure pretty much every single day. Since starting this process about 2 months ago, I'm not going to pretend like all of my problems have gone away, because that's not realistic, that's not true. I still struggle with depression, anxiety, loneliness, culture shock. I still struggle with those things, because those things have nothing to do with losing weight. Losing weight isn't gonna fix those parts of me that are broken. Losing weight isn't gonna fix mental health issues or like problems that I have in my brain and the way that I talk to myself. That's not gonna fix that, and I understand that. That's not necessarily, I mean, I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't hoping that that would happen, but realistically, I know that those aren't realistic goals for me. But what it has done and continues to do is teach me that I am actually capable of a lot more than I ever gave myself credit for, and a lot more than I ever told myself that I could do. That I'm actually capable of self-discipline, which is something that I always used as an excuse. I was always like, yeah, when it comes to food, that's like my weakness. My downfall is cheese, my downfall is wine, you know. I'm capable of being in control of my body and myself. Honestly, I feel like a badass now, and not just because I'm thinner, not just because I'm more muscular now, because I am, really because every day I'm constantly crushing these inner demons and this inner voice that's like, you can't do it, you're not strong enough, you're not good enough, you're not worth it. And that's why I'm doing this. Like, I actually finally feel empowered now. I feel like I could do anything. And I'm like not even at my goal yet. I'm just in the process of doing this, and it feels this good. So I can't remember the last time that I felt so empowered. And I can't remember the last time I trusted myself the way that I do now. I am damn proud of myself, and I have a hard time reconciling how I feel about myself and my progress with what I read on Everyday Feminism. Now, I can't speak for other people's experiences, nor do I want to. I'm not here to judge, but I did want to say, as a feminist, as a member of this community, and as someone who is still technically obese, thanks BMI, this feels like an area that could be expanded. It feels like an area that falls a little bit short. Honestly, maybe this is just my privilege showing, and for real, if that is the case, if you're watching this and you feel like that's the case, I welcome constructive feedback. You don't owe me an explanation, you don't owe me any kind of teaching, you're not my professor, it's okay, like, but you can call me out and that's fine. I welcome that, because I'm still just learning, I'm still growing, I'm still becoming, I'm still making progress. And like really any healthy health journey, what I'm shooting for is progress and not perfection. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, because I put out new content every week. Whether you agree or disagree with me, I hope that you leave a comment below because I love reading your comments. I love having a discussion, having a conversation. I love having a dialogue, and I really value what you guys have to say and what you think. I do read them all. All, whatever, 6 of them. Otherwise, just keep being the love that you wish to see in the world, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.